Sure.
Howdy, everybody. I'm JR.
And I'm Stacey.
And to keep the lights on for this podcast, we went out here and a sponsor decided to sponsor the show. So let's give them a moment to do what they do.
Alrighty, now to jump into it.
Well, I think what happened at some point, I made this crazy distinction that Studio Ghibli, I say it wrong, whatever it's called, I decided that they were no longer a part of anime. I decided that it's its own animation because it's got its own style. And
because there is a distinct difference between the two. I'm not a professional or actually highly educated or even slightly educated in being able to differentiate. But from what you've explained to me, what I've seen, kind of read up a little bit on, there is a distinct difference.
Right. And I mean, this goes as far back as when we've seen Porco Rosso, Ponyo, and numerous other movies that are under this company's belt. So I guess the point I got to give to the audience real fast is that this is something I've fallen in love with.
Right.
Shout out to HBO Max for housing every single movie. We do want y'all as a sponsor if y'all guys can get the paperwork straight with our attorneys.
And you can email us at sparrowsunderreview@gmail.com. All one word.
Right. So on that note, I'm JR.
And I'm Stacey. We are going to talk about The Boy and the Heron. And every time we talk about this movie, JR wants to call it the heroine. And I have to correct it to the heron. So let's talk about that first.
All right. So this book is based off of a novel by Yoshinaro from 1937, which that's wild, but it's not an adaptation of it. So let's get that out the way real fast. This movie was highly hyped. This was a movie that, like, it had a production release in the United States.
Oh, okay. It says it's a reference. Title references, but it's not an adaptation.
Right. Okay. So this film, like, did its thing. It was brought out, put into different types of formats. What caught my eye was, like, do it in IMAX. Let's automatically have a 4K animated film.
Right, because this was a theatrical release one, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And with this one, the star-studded cast for it, which we'll get into in a minute, this movie, like, for some reason, I don't want to say, like, that I was messed up, but this movie was, like, part of, like, a hard struggle with that SAG after strike stuff. And it played a part in the SAG after foreign dubbing agreement. It had, like, this movie right here is, when we're talking about politics in movies, this is something that helped bridge the gap in between that strike. Because this thing had a hard, rough road. Now, the English dubbing of this were the Studio Ghibli movies done by G-Kids, and G-Kids is somebody we could go talk about, whatever. The reason I'm giving you guys this little bit of technical aspect of this is to show you that in between the time of this movie's release to its time being translated to America, it went through a hard time.
Right.
Movie gets released, and it goes under my radar because, and this is really crazy what I'm about to say, because this is normally not how I get down with movies. I saw the DVD, I saw the Blu-ray.
Right.
I saw it continuously in stores. And with the way that Walmart had their store set up, because that's who I was incorporated with at the time, I couldn't tell who made the movie. It wasn't prominent. It wasn't, like, it didn't get the feel that when you go in the stores, you could see a 2-pack that had movies like My Neighbor, Tora Tora, and Kiki's Delivery in a set, or maybe Spirited Away and Howling Castle, or Howl's Moving Castle.
What is the one? The witch one you were telling me about?
Kiki's Delivery?
No, there was another one. The Madam and maybe Princess
Mononoke and something else were all together. So you could tell distinctly what those were. Right. They were in their set packages, because it's not like this is when Disney did their dubbing and did some extra stuff. This is them, rocking it out, doing it however. So the thing that caught me was that HBO all of a sudden, because I gotta tell you this, the Max does hard subliminal advertising to me.
Right.
And I've wasted like 5 minutes on this, but I gotta tell the story because it makes sense. And this is the sense of how how I think. I'm looking at this movie and I keep seeing it, and it's like, this movie will be available. And I want to say it was sometime in September or August maybe that it was available. But it was available sometime in the summer, but it was coming to release on the Max. I don't remember exactly when it came out on the Mac, but when this movie did, all right, yeah, that's what it was. Because like this movie came out, that's what it was. The movie came out September 6th, 2024 on the Max. And then it was released on Netflix in territories outside of the US. So, wow. So this movie, this is the first 4K release of a Studio Ghibli film. That's what made it all big and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'll have to do some research on G-Kid to talk about them. Because it's weird that Walt Disney and Japan released this.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of politics in this one. And I got to get y'all to understand this. This movie has tie-ins to Stacey and her clan.
And I didn't know until after the movie. We were sitting down and we actually talked about this prior to doing the episode that we're doing now. And the gray Heron is voiced by Robert Pattinson in the English version.
Okay.
Which is my Twilight guy.
And the thing here with this film, this is the biggest opening film since Howl's Moving Castle, which that's one I would like to get to watch at some point. Okay. And we'll go into deeper than this. Right. So
we're kind of just doing it a little backwards to what we normally do. Normally we go in talking about the film.
All right, so English-wise, you named a guy famous from Twilight. Christian Bale, famous for Batman. Another guy that's famous for Batman, but as an animated character, is Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill, to the flip side, is Luke Skywalker from Star Wars.
Right.
Florence Pugh, Willem Dafoe, and Willem Dafoe, if you need to know who he is, Willem Dafoe, you'll remember him from that movie. We talked about it. He was in Spider-Man. He played the Goblin Spider-Man. And he was in that other movie we watched with the redhead lady, Emma Stone. Dave Bautista of professional wrestling fame, and he's from a great set of movies called Guardians of the Galaxy.
See, that was the one that surprised me too, because he's been in a lot of stuff lately. Like, he's been busy.
Right. He works and does his part.
Beetlejuice.
He was in that too, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember we've seen him on that. But yeah, Mr. Bautista has been in a lot of newer films lately. And at first, you watch the Guardians of the Galaxy where he doesn't really talk in it. And then you actually get him into some talking roles. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of exciting.
And I think my thing about Florence Pugh, the only reason, and please, no one hurt me for this, she was in 2 movies. Dune Part 2, which everybody knows that's one of my things. That's a movie I actually haven't sat down and watched yet.
Right.
I haven't watched Part 2 yet. And she was in Stacey's favorite movie of all time, Oppenheimer.
I want to say something right now, but since this is an anime movie, I'm going to not say that word.
Right. So if you don't know who Florence Pugh is, I gave you enough stuff to know what she's from.
Right. And like I feel like her name sounds familiar. I just don't remember her from anything. I'm not saying that in a rude way, but just unmemorable.
Now, getting into this movie. This movie was one of those things where, like, I want to say animation-wise, I was so caught up in looking at the environment and looking at everything that's going on, with how the water moves around and all that crazy shit going on. And it always seems like in some of these movies, like the parents, I started thinking it's a thing. Like the parents don't want to raise their children.
Well, I mean, you got to think, and this is probably going to get me some hate, and I don't care at this point. Though us in the U.S. coddle our children. We coddle them, and they are on the until they decide they're finally ready to leave. I'm not saying everybody's like that, and I'm not saying there's not like people out there that are, you know, a little too tough and all that stuff. But I feel like is it Japanese or Chinese? Japanese. Because I don't want to get it wrong, and I know that there's a difference.
Oh yeah,
I thought that's what it was, but I feel like the Japanese culture is to get your children ready for life.
Okay.
So, and I do feel like they are better. I feel like they don't deal with as much stuff over there like we do to have to coddle your children the way that we do here. I feel like they're kids and they have more in certain, and as like I said, it's going to be certain places. I feel like their children can go walk around the street at 10 years old and they would be okay. And I could be completely ignorant to all of that. But that is how I perceive it.
Okay.
And like I said, my opinion and how I see it. If I'm wrong, you're more than welcome to let us know in the comments how wrong we are.
And my perspective on this movie, it gets going, and we deal with themes in this movie that I believe everyone should be able to handle. And I mean, this thing gets spicy. Our main character loses his mom in a hospital fire, and then his dad, that dastardly motherfucker, marries the sister.
Listen, I wasn't trying to say that word on this episode.
Yo, he married, like...
Did you not remember that until right now? Until you got to read it? Yes!
Yo, yes. That's savage! Like...
Yes! The kid's mom dies in a fire. His dad moves him away and gets his aunt pregnant and marries her. I assume he marries her.
Right, yeah, they were married. But, he marries his late wife's sister.
Yeah, and it's like, if you marry my sister, you know, there's something wrong there. Like how do you... I know that, like I said, times are different. This is probably based on a different time frame, and it's not necessarily... it's not necessarily real life. It is fiction. Hey listeners, are you ready for a story that will keep you on the edge of your seat? Imagine Would You Rather meets House on Haunted Hill with just a dash of Saw. Intrigued? Let me tell you about The Invitation, a new young adult horror/thriller novel from an independent author, Stephen T. Thomas, coming January 21st, 2025. In the small town of Westview, Brittany Barnes is searching for hope after her father's tragic death and her family's financial struggles. When she and her friends are invited to a luxurious dinner party, it feels like the break she desperately needs. But this isn't your ordinary party. The wealthy and mysterious host, Mr. Carl Cummings, has something far more sinister planned. What begins as a glamorous evening quickly turns into a series of acutely distressing trials, tests of bravery, morality, and survival. The Invitation isn't just a survival story. It's an emotional roller coaster that explores loss, hope, and the strength of human connection. It's perfect for fans of dark twist and high-stakes drama. Mark your calendars for January 21st, 2025, because this is one release you don't want to miss. Pre-order your copy of The Invitation now and prepare yourself for a night you'll never forget. Head on over and pre-order your copy at Barnes & Noble or Amazon. The Invitation. How far would you go to survive? In it, but I'm just like, dang, his aunt, now he's going to have a brother cousin.
Yeah, brother cousin, that sounds like some stuff that happens in certain parts of Appalachia. You know, a brother
certain
cousin.
Things that go on in my family.
Yeah, well, either way, like, and I will say this about, and this is just on the animation front.
Yeah.
The next few movies that we'll be talking about, like, some rough stuff happens across the board.
Right.
Like, especially the Wild Robot. When I get Wild Robot, I've got to go hard. Right. Because that was serious, but
and then I just I'm like you. It doesn't. If I remember correctly, I didn't realize that was the aunt.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have realized it was the aunt, but I didn't realize the dad married her and that was his baby.
Right.
Until the end. Or maybe I pulled up Wikipedia and saw it and I'm like, damn.
And I was like, that's harsh. And I'm just thinking about this. And so this Heron. I'm sorry, Heron.
See what I mean, people?
This gray Heron, voiced by Robert Pattinson. So I call it the Twilight Bird. Pattinson, whatever. The Twilight Bird, tells him, yo, bro, I can help you find your mother in some kind of magical way. I do remember that. And no offense to our main character, which is, I'm going to call him Makey. Makey goes through some stuff. Mojito, whatever his name is.
I feel like that.
Yeah, Mojito's the first name. Yeah, Mojito's the first name. I'm talking about the last name.
Oh, Maki.
And then, the next thing you know, like, you know what? I'm getting the films mixed up. Remember how Liam Neeson was in the other joint? Why do I feel like he was the wizard in this one? But anyway,
right. But no, and it is different. The Heron kind of helped. He starts talking, and you go throughout the film, and he's doing like different things and different tasks, and different stuff happens, and it's a lot of information. And the movie or film, whatever you want to call it, is quite different than the explanation you're going to get on Wikipedia, because I feel like it's a good split between the two. So if you haven't watched the film yet, definitely go watch it, because it was good. It has the good graphics, the good images. It has the good roundabout thing. Everything makes sense eventually. It all ties together, and you're not left questioning anything major.
Right.
Like, what you're going to question why dude went with his sister-in-law, but there, to sum it all up, it all makes sense. And then if you're still confused, I definitely recommend heading on over to Wikipedia, because they give you a good synopsis of it. But like I said, it's a little bit different, so you kind of need to do them together.
Right. And overall, I just want to say this about this movie, because I'm a cinematography person. Mm-hmm. It was a beautiful movie.
It was.
And shout out, because the way that this movie was watched was on the great Anchor Nebula Capsule 3 projector. And it was we ran it in full 4K.
Yeah.
So you saw it frame to frame, end to end.
Right.
The way it would be seen in a theater.
Right.
And minus certain things that go on. And it's just like, to me, these
parrots. Remember the parrots?
The motherfucking parrots was vicious.
They were.
Like, us explaining the movie to you doesn't do justice.
It doesn't, because, like, let's be honest, y'all. If y'all followed us for any amount of time, you know that my memory is terrible. JR usually has a really good memory, and I feel like he's forgetting some of this movie as well. And we're not saying that in the way of it's a forgettable movie, but there is so much that happened in this movie that it is kind of hard for us to sit there and re-explain it, because we didn't just watch it. It's been a little while.
Right. And one thing I want to give it its accolades. Golden Globes that took place in January of 2024, which is this year. They won Best Animated Feature Film, which honestly, compared to everything I've seen, they deserved it. But this is where this movie went on smash.
Okay.
This is where this movie devastated me and turned my life around and made me kind of slap myself in the face. Academy Awards, we all know what those are. It won Best Animated Feature.
Okay.
Now, on a Best Animated Feature, when something wins that, which is something that has been going on for quite some time, like, this movie, to me, like, Elemental, I haven't seen that. Naomina, I haven't seen. Robot Dreams. Matter of fact,
are you listing ones they went up against?
Yeah, Robot Dreams, I haven't seen that either. But I've seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And when I can just compare them two films. The other ones I may watch, I may never watch. Who cares? But the point is like for it to win an Oscar, which is an American, for it to win an Oscar, I mean, to sit there and watch it, I can see this movie gets a place on my mantle.
Right, and I would like to watch it again.
Right.
Because I did enjoy it, and like I said, I really do recommend that everybody go watch it.
Right, but it's something that just sits and it makes sense.
Right.
Like when you watch it, it does more justice than me ever reading anything about it or seeing a review for it. So that point on, if our Academy Award people, which I don't agree with them on hardly anything,
right?
Oppenheimer fucking sucked.
It was awful.
It was awful. But for them to give this a spot, I mean, it was a way better movie than Across the Spider-Verse. Let's be honest. The last Spider-Man,
is that the cartoon one?
Yeah, that one was a little crazy.
I don't want to say that was a bad movie because I didn't watch it all the way through.
But it didn't keep your attention.
It didn't keep my attention and make me want to watch the movie with you. I probably fell asleep or played on my phone when you watched it.
Okay, so let me do this with you. Let's do a different spin this time. Where does this movie sit in your ranking?
As far as Studio Ghibli movies?
Yeah, or just in general?
In general? I mean, we're kind of like this on all of our stuff. Like, it's a movie that I will watch again, and I will recommend it to people because I think that it was a good movie. But if you give me a list of 5 movies that I can only recommend to somebody, this is not one that's going to be part of those 5 movies.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Right. Now, I can say with this movie, being who I am, this movie is fine to sit in a catalog, and if someone wanted to learn about it, it would be something that I would show them right now, because when you look at the quality of the picture and everything that's with it, I can put it up against a movie in 1988, and the 1988 almost looked better to me watching it.
Let's just straight up jump into that. Like, you will hear another episode maybe next week or the week after. We're going to talk about My Totoro.
Yeah, My Neighbor Totoro.
My Neighbor Totoro.
Right, 1988 film.
The cat meow. I knew I'd get you to do that. But yes, I loved that movie, and
she's biased.
No, because it had me laughing. Like, it was cute and it was funny and it was everything that I needed in one of these type of movies. And I'm going to pick that one over The Boy and the Heron, even though The Boy and the Heron English version has the voice of one of my favorite characters in a movie.
And let me take a step back, you all. I take this back. I actually did see Elemental. Right. Was a Pixar movie.
Yep.
That shit wasn't that good.
It wasn't as good as this movie.
And whatever this Namona movie, it was a movie that was released on Netflix. So that shit don't even count. Like, and then Robot Dreams, I do gotta say this. Robot Dreams has been one of the movies that I have wanted to see.
I haven't seen it.
And the only reason I haven't seen it is because of its weird release. It's had a theatrical release, and I don't think it's had a physical release yet. And it's one that when I've tried to go see it in theaters, they want $20 to go see it. We're not doing shit like that. So
no, I like my $5 theater.
So I won't be honest. The competition that this movie went up against, outside of Spider-Man, it would have beat the shit out of any of them. When we're talking about animation.
Now, did you say it won or it did not win?
It did win.
It did win? Okay.
Yeah. So I'll give it its accolade. It's a movie that won an Oscar, so I can't go wrong with it. Is it in my top 10? No. Is it in my top 100? Interestingly, no.
Right. I can see that.
Because the studio has better movies than this.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like what I said. I would watch it again. I'm not going to go out of my way to make sure I do watch it. But if it's on and there's nothing else on, I might watch it. Or if I just want to rewatch it, I will recommend if somebody asks me specifically about Studio Ghibli movies, be like, yeah, make sure you watch it. Give it a shot at least one time. But this is the one that I really want you to watch. I'm going to point out 2 of them.
Okay. So, I don't really have much more to say. I mean, I'm not trying to be lengthy or nothing.
You're good.
Right. So, if you guys get a chance, please rate, review our show on Apple, Spotify, leave comments, do any and everything that you can to interact with us so that we can interact with you all.
Yes. We do have Instagram and a TikTok now. It is Sparrows Under Review. I believe you can find us on Instagram with that as well.
Right.
We do have an X account, but honestly, I don't mess with X very much.
Okay.
And we will be coming to Threads. We also have an account through Letterboxd. With Letterboxd, you can go on there, and this is not sponsored yet, but Letterboxd, let us know if you want to put an ad in here. Hit us up, sparrowsunderreview@gmail.com. And you can see any movies that we don't necessarily do a podcast episode about, but if we've randomly watched something, we're going to go in there and we're going to rate it, and you can follow along with us to know which ones we're currently watching.
Right, and I think that's cool. Also, we have the first episode of a great, and this is a wild one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
There's a movie called Alien Romulus. It is on our Patreon.
Yes.
By the time that this airs, it will be released on there. So definitely think about joining us as a friend of the podcast.
And we're doing it kind of cheap. You know, our first tier is $5.
Right.
That is going to give you full access to our first episode on Patreon.
Right. And from that point on, you will get unedited episodes. You'll get the raw cut.
You just have to be open to any type of conversation.
Right. So you'll definitely get that. And you will get exclusive episodes there. There will be no retreads.
The age of 18.
Right. And there will be no retreads. What you hear here is what you hear. Mm-hmm. And what goes on over there, it will stay in a paid form for you all. So definitely, I hope all the fans will enjoy that. So on that note, I'm JR.
And I'm Stacey.